Welcome to my year in a review gardening edition, and today we're looking back at what went really well in my garden this year and a few things which didn't go so well and what we're planning to do differently next year with them, so that we're ensuring that all that garden real estate is used wisely, because we all know garden real estate is precious, right? So yeah, that is what we're going to do, and if you hold out until the end, I might have a little surprise for you. All right, let's get going. I'm Steffi. I'm a home gardener here in Edinburgh, Massachusetts. It's zone 6, and I love to take you along for the ride, so welcome to my channel. Let's start with things which went well. One highlight of this year was definitely for me my deck containers. So you might remember when we started in the beginning of the year, all of our deck containers from seed, because we want to save some money. And yeah, it was so awesome. It's totally blew my mind away of how beautiful it looked, how well it worked. I thought it would work well, but that it looked so great and also was blooming through the entire season was amazing. We had those like dwarf zinnias, geraniums, and basil as foliage in the containers on the deck and on the stairs, and all of them had pretty much the same color coding, so it looked all very beautifully put together. I really enjoyed that, and want to add to this year's or the upcoming year's rotations some homegrown petunias. So we shall see. Those need to be started a little bit earlier. So we gotta think of timing for this year, but I probably will do an update video after the holidays, so everybody can plan and planned along with me. But that one was so great, and I think I did the math in the video, and we saved like $300-400 compared to what it would have cost to get that amount of plants at a nursery or so. And it was truly so easy, especially like with zinnias, geraniums, and basil. I would say those are three of the easiest plants to grow from seed. So that was definitely a highlight. Yeah. Number two was, and you're probably already sick of me talking about it, but my seedling did so well. My dahlia seedling, Merlin, which went through its third season. This time we grew it in a larger production with a local flower farmer here in Rhode Island, Gabby, who put my seedling through the ringer, and also checked like market performance and stuff, and it did in all categories really well. I'm happy to share that we will have a limited stock available in January of 2026 if you're curious and want to get some of the tubers as well. Again, it's limited stock with an emphasis on limited. And if you want to get some tubers, make sure you get on the launch list. I have everything linked in the description below. And yeah, we will probably start sending out update emails after the holidays and ramping up for a sale end of January. So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, so in the tuber production, that was where I was a little bit nervous about. In the past 2 years, the few plants I grew had really great tuber production, and then like with Gabby growing out my seedling in a large quantity in a different place, in a slightly different location, not different climate because she's in Rhode Island, it's like 30 minutes away from me, but you never know, right? So that gave me a little bit of anxiety until we made it until November, and we finally dug up the clumps, and they were massive and still really great tuber producer, all super easy to divide with beautiful eyes on it. So yeah, I have a basement full of tubers, and her name is going to be Merlin, if you might remember from previous videos, after my late grandmother. So yeah, I'm really excited to share her with the world. After it was so much work to get it there, not fully sure if I'm going to do it again. So if you want to get a tuber, don't wait. And that's all I'm saying here. But she brought me so much joy throughout this season, and all the comments I got from you guys on my videos or on my other socials about how much you love her too really filled my heart. So that was definitely my other highlight. And then last but not least, in vegetable related highlight, which were my new tomato cages. So I had to use different cages this year because the tomato rotation from the beds were in a bed where I didn't have my beautiful trellis anymore, because yeah, that got blown away in a storm or not blown away. Something from the neighbors got blown away by the storm and crashed into the trellis. Anyway, we're over that. That was 2 years ago, but that bed didn't have any kind of trellising system anymore, so we needed something to stake the tomatoes up. And I got for the first time those large round black Titan cages from Gardener's Supply, and the tomatoes loved it. I was stunned. I was thinking like, it's not so easy to like keep foliage down and make sure that the plants focus on like tomato production, or if they will shade each other out or something like that. But they produced like crazy and really, really well, and seemed to love it. Like, it was a tomato jungle in those cages in the end, but all of the tomatoes really, really produced well. The only thing what I will probably slightly do differently is to rearrange them slightly, because I had like one in the middle which was extremely hard to reach, so I will probably do a slightly different order. And also the peppers I had along on the way, they definitely got shaded out eventually, so they didn't do so well. So I'll probably keep the number of plants I have in the bed, but just rearrange them slightly differently so that the peppers stay a chance next year. But other than that, I really enjoyed how great the tomatoes did, and we have so much sauce and salsa that will definitely last us until the next canning season of 2026. So that was definitely great, and I really, really enjoyed that. Let's move to the things which didn't go so well. One experiment I had in one of my large wooden beds was that I wanted to plant a bed of melons after the peas were done. So I have the only spring bed I do typically is one bed where I have some really nice spring snap peas and snow peas in it, and a little bit of garden lettuce around in spring before it gets too hot, but that gets turned over around mid-June or so into a summer bed. And this year I thought, oh, it would be so cool to have some melons, because the kids really love melons and enjoy eating that, especially when it's hot. So I picked out a few varieties, I think like 2 cantaloupe varieties and like 3 watermelon varieties, but all were more like small sized, like personal sized melons. Yeah, I think like we had like some 10 seedlings or 10 plants in there. I grew them from, did I grow them from seed or did I grow them in the bed? I think I actually did a mix. Yeah, so I had a few seedlings which transferred really nicely, and all of them grew really well. So I had a green bed with stuff in it, and a few of them understood the assignment to go up vertically up in the netting. However, the amount of fruit I got out of it was sad. I think in total I had like 4 small watermelons out of it, no cantaloupe. They like stuck in like an, like what kind of size, like larger than like a tennis ball and slightly larger like a baseball, I would say, but like not big. So, and it didn't look like they ever made it to ripeness, even close. And then something also went in it, so I'm not sure if that was the groundhog looking for a snack, like going over the fencing, but something definitely went in it, which clearly didn't help either. But again, like nothing really made it to maturity in large quantities, and that was a 4x8 bed, so that was really, really a sizable bed, and that felt unfortunately like a lot of wasted space. So we scrapped the melons for next year. I'd rather get them at our local farm stand here, but I'm thinking I might try out a full bed of dry beans. So because I'm also always thinking about like my simplicity purposes, what is easy, doesn't need to be harvested so often, and also last as an as like produce or like as a harvest very well. And I had good success with my dried beans on the deck, like not trellis, but like I have like 2 large grow bags next to our deck for something what can rank up and grow up the deck. And that was last year dry beans, which did very well. And yeah, I kind of enjoy having something what you don't need to like fret about, and you just dry them. And yes, the shelling is a little bit of a work, but I think I'm giving that a try next year. So if you have grown dry beans before, I love my green beans, so that I grow fantastically every year, but dry beans is a different thing. So let me know what your favorite varieties are, or if you can recommend anything in our areas. I would love to hear your thoughts there. Then the other thing which didn't go so well, or that probably falls more into the category of things I really didn't enjoy doing this year, which is a fair thing to do, which kind of fits into the category of doing not so well, was my potatoes. I was like, oh, I love a homegrown potato, and I really think they taste as everything in the garden so much better if it's homegrown. But the yields were not as great. We had again like a really, really weird weather year with like roller coaster weather. Spring was cooler and really, really wet up until like late June, and then it flipped into the opposite. So it was like kind of a mishmash in terms of weather, and I think potatoes just don't like that so much. And it was just like, it's always like such an effort to get the potatoes out and harvested. And this year I really hated every minute of it. So, but next to the potato patch in the driveway, I grew for the first time a little dwarf peach tree who I had to, or where I left a couple of fruits on it. Typically you're supposed to take the fruits off to ensure that the roots are growing and everything, but I really wanted to ensure that we like the fruits on it and they taste well, and hell yes they did. So that I am thinking that I'm going to take the grow bags out of this corner because it has like beautiful full sun exposure, and maybe add like 2 or 3 more dwarf trees in there to grow like a little driveway orchard. And maybe even in the middle putting in a green stalk with strawberries, because the other thing was the strawberries didn't do great either. But where that bed is, we have 2 like junipers, or is it junipers, like 2 evergreens next to it, which when we started gardening were actually still pretty small, but they grew like in the last 5 years like double in size, and really cast a lot of shade on this bed for a good number, or for a good portion of the day, unless it's like high summer. So I'm kind of thinking of like breaking this bed down and doing something else with the strawberries, and I think in the green stalk they might have a chance that I can successfully defend them against, like, I don't know, the chipmunks, the squirrels, and the birdies and everything what likes to eat them. But we shall see if I want to do that. But I'm pretty set on getting like 2 or 3 more dwarf trees to start our mini orchard, or to grow our mini orchard. And yeah, let me know if you have any experience with like mini orchards, or like any type of dwarf trees for fruits. Let me know if you can recommend something. I would love to hear your thoughts there. And then last but not least, the little surprise I teased in the beginning. Every year at the end of the season, I do a seed share with the seeds I save throughout the garden year. And that is at the moment online. I have the link below for the seed share. It's free. I just love to share my seeds with my community. It's my way to thank you for it, and I'll typically leave it open until Christmas or a little bit later, depending on how many sign up, or for as long as I have seats available. So I hope you take this as, yeah, my thank you for you being here, and I just enjoy making videos for you and looking forward to the next one. So I hope you found this video interesting. Otherwise, subscribe and watch another video. Thank you.